My name is Sophia Reeves, and 3 months before my wedding, I found out the man I was going to marry had an entire second life I knew nothing about, not a flirtation, not a mistake he made once and buried in guilt, a woman, an apartment, a child, a little girl named Ava who was 2 years old and had his eyes. I want you to understand something before I tell you what I did next. I was not a naive woman. I was not someone who missed signs or made excuses for bad behavior. I was a 31-year-old pediatric nurse who had spent a decade taking care of other people with precision and calm. I was good at reading situations. I was good at staying steady when everything around me was falling apart. What I was not good at was imagining that the man who cried at our engagement dinner, who called my mother every Sunday, who had already paid the deposit on our honeymoon in Portugal, was capable of this. That was my blind spot, Marcus Cole. 34 years old, an architect, tall, dark-haired, the kind of man who made rooms feel smaller just by walking into them. We met at a mutual friend's birthday dinner 4 years ago. He spilled red wine on my dress within 20 minutes of meeting me and spent the rest of the night so genuinely mortified and funny about it that I forgot to be annoyed. We dated for 2 years before he proposed. He did it in the kitchen on a random Wednesday morning, no grand gesture, just him on one knee in his socks, holding a ring box and saying, "I cannot imagine a single day without you in it." I said yes before he finished the sentence. For 2 more years after that, we built everything together, a shared apartment, a joint account for wedding expenses, a future so detailed and deliberate that I had a folder on my laptop called Our Life with subcategories for the apartment we wanted to buy, the neighborhoods we liked, the names we had quietly agreed on for children we had not yet had. I was 3 months away from marrying this man, and I found out everything on a Tuesday afternoon in the most ordinary way possible. His phone buzzed on the kitchen counter while he was in the shower. I was not looking at it. I was walking past it, but the name on the screen stopped me cold, Danielle with a red heart emoji. I stood there for a moment. Marcus had mentioned a Danielle once, maybe twice. A colleague from a previous firm, someone he had worked with years ago. Nothing that had ever required a second thought. I picked up his phone. I should not have needed a code to unlock it. We did not have secrets. Except that his code had changed 2 months ago, and when I asked, he said he updated it for security and gave me the new one without hesitation. Except that the new one he gave me did not work. I stood in my kitchen holding my fiancé's locked phone and felt something cold move through me. He came out of the shower 20 minutes later to find me sitting at the kitchen table with a cup of coffee I had not touched. I did not say anything about the phone. I smiled. I asked about his day. I watched his face. That night after he fell asleep, I took his phone from the nightstand. I had watched him unlock it 100 times. I knew the pattern of his thumb 4 digits. I tried his childhood street number. Nothing. I tried the year his father died. Nothing. I tried the month and year we got engaged. It opened. I sat in the bathroom on the cold tile floor for 2 hours reading everything. Danielle Marsh, they had been together for 3 years. Longer than our engagement. She lived 40 minutes away in an apartment. Marcus paid half the rent on. She had a daughter, Ava, born 26 months ago. Marcus was listed on the birth certificate. He had a child. He had a daughter who was learning to walk and talk and call him daddy while he was calling me his future wife. The messages between them were not the messages of a man ending something or carrying guilt. They were the messages of a man who had simply divided his life in 2 and saw no reason to stop. She sent him a video that night, Ava taking 4 steps across a wooden floor before sitting down hard and laughing. Marcus had responded with 3 heart emojis and the words, "She is everything." I put the phone back exactly where I found it. I went back to bed. I lay beside him in the dark, and I did not cry. I did not shake. I just made a decision so quietly. It barely felt like a decision at all. He was not going to get a private conversation. He was not going to get a tearful confrontation in our apartment where he could spin his words and manage my reaction and walk away with the narrative he chose. He had stolen 3 years of my life. He had stolen the version of my future I had been building in good faith. He had a child I did not know existed. He was going to lose everything in the same room where everyone who loved him could watch. Our wedding was 12 weeks away, the venue was booked, 220 guests, a vineyard 2 hours outside the city, string lights, a live band, a menu we had tasted 7 times before choosing. My dress was already altered, his suit was already fitted. I let every single plan stay exactly as it was. I did 3 things in the days that followed. First, I called Dana, my best friend and maid of honor, and told her everything. Dana was the only person who knew. She did not cry or spiral. She sat across from me at my kitchen table, looked me in the eye, and said, "What do you need me to do?" That is the kind of friend she was. Second, I quietly contacted a family lawyer, not to file anything yet, just to understand exactly what I was entitled to from our joint accounts and shared expenses before I moved a single dollar. Third, I called Danielle Marsh. I know how that sounds, but I did not call her in anger. I called her because she deserved to know what he had told her was also a lie. Marcus had told Danielle he was single, that he was not ready for a serious commitment, that he was taking things slowly. She did not know about me. She did not know about the wedding. When I told her, she went completely silent for a long time. Then she said, "How long?" I said, 4 years. She made a sound I will never forget for the rest of my life. We talked for an hour. By the end of it, she was not my enemy. She was the other woman he had also betrayed. She agreed to come to the wedding, not to cause a scene, not out of anger, just to be in the room when the truth came out. Because she had a 2-year-old daughter who deserved a father who could at least be held accountable in front of the people who mattered to him. The wedding day arrived sunny and warm with the kind of blue sky that makes everything look like a photograph. I got ready with my bridesmaids. I put on my dress. I let my mother cry and fix my veil and tell me I was the most beautiful thing she had ever seen. I was completely calm. Marcus was already at the venue when I arrived. I saw him through the window before he saw me. He was laughing with his groomsmen, relaxed and easy, a man without a single visible crack. That calm of his used to be one of the things I loved most about him. Now I understood what it actually was. The guests were seated, 220 people in white chairs facing a floral arch at golden hour. Both our families, our closest friends, colleagues, his parents in the front row, my mother holding a handkerchief. I walked down the aisle. Marcus watched me come toward him with an expression so full of what looked like love that for 1/2 second something in me ached. Then I reached him. He took my hands. The officiant began. And when the officiant reached the part about speaking now or forever, holding your peace, I let 4 seconds of silence pass. Then I spoke. I said, "Actually, I have something to say." The room went very still. I turned to face the guests. I kept my voice steady. I had practiced it 100 times in my bathroom mirror, and my voice did not shake once. I said, "I love every single person in this room, and because I love you, I am not going to stand here and build a marriage on a foundation that was already broken before we got to this altar." I heard Marcus say my name quietly behind me once. I kept going. I said, "The man I was about to marry has a daughter. Her name is Ava. She is 2 years old. Her mother is here today because she also deserved to know the truth." I watched his face go completely white. I said, "I am not doing this to humiliate anyone. I am doing this because I spent 4 years loving someone who was never fully mine, and I refuse to spend the next 40 doing the same thing." Then I set my bouquet down on the altar. I turned to Marcus and I looked at him for a long moment. I said, "I hope Ava has a better version of you than I got." I walked back down the aisle. The room was so silent I could hear my own heels on the wooden floor. Dana was waiting at the end of the aisle with my overnight bag already packed. She had arranged everything: a car, a hotel, a bottle of wine, and 2 days of complete silence from the world. I did not look back. Behind me I heard the murmur of the room beginning, and then Marcus's voice, louder now, and then his mother, and then nothing, because the doors closed and I was outside in the warm afternoon air, and it was over. 6 months later. I am living in a small apartment 2 neighborhoods from where Marcus and I used to be. It has tall windows and a kitchen. I have slowly made mine and a running route along the river that I do every morning before my shift. I went back to work 2 weeks after the wedding that never happened. My colleagues knew small hospitals are not quiet places. But they were kind in the way that good people are kind without making it larger than it needed to be. I have not spoken to Marcus since that day. His lawyer contacted mine twice. I had nothing to negotiate. I had already quietly separated my finances in the weeks before the wedding. I walked away clean. I heard from mutual friends that Danielle has moved closer to her family, that she is doing well, that Ava is healthy and bright and walking everywhere now into everything. Fearless the way 2-year-olds are before the world teaches them to be careful. I think about Ava sometimes, not with bitterness, just with something that feels like hope. That little girl did not choose any of this. She deserves a life that is honest and steady and full. I hope she gets it. As for me, I am not all the way healed. I do not think you can lose 4 years and a whole imagined future and be all the way healed in 6 months. That would be dishonest, and I am done with dishonest. But I am better. Genuinely, quietly better. I sleep well now. That surprised me most. I thought the nights would be the hardest part. Instead, I fall asleep fast and deep in my own bed, in my own apartment with my own life, arranged exactly the way I want it. Some mornings I wake up and the first thing I feel is light. Just light. Nothing heavy. Nobody else's secrets pressing down on my chest. That feeling is new. I like it very much. My name is Sophia Reeves. I was 3 months away from the wrong life. I am very glad I did not live it.